Hey, everybody. Welcome to Stained Glass. Me and Julie are here with you this morning. Morning, Julie.
Hey,
How's everybody out there this morning? Of course, you guys, if you have watched the podcast before, welcome back. If you haven't watched or watched, oh my goodness, I guess you can watch with your ears. I'm not sure. If you guys have listened to the podcast before, welcome back. If you guys are new, welcome. We're glad to have you. Come as you are because we're all broken here. We've got a special guest on here with us this morning. It's a young lady named Danielle. The Lord's laid it on her heart to share her testimony. So we're excited to see what she's got for us. Got a little surprise in it too for you guys. This is going to be a multiple part. So you guys be sure that you tune back in when we record next week so you guys can, hear it all the way through. I know the Lord's got something special for her and for you guys and for us as well. So, no further ado, we're going to get started here this morning. And Danielle, thank you for being here with us this morning.
thank you for having me.
Well, of course, we're glad that you're here, and we're glad that you got a testimony to share. And everybody has a testimony to share. It's just listening to the Lord when He asks you to share it.
Everybody's testimony is different too. So
It is. It is.
Others touch lives more than some.
So you guys buckle up, and we're going to get down to business. So, Miss Danielle, where are you from?
I'm from Gamewell.
You're from Gamewell. And for those of you that don't know, that's another little blip on the map. Valdez is small, and Gamewell's just
Gamewell's
a touch smaller. That's right up the road here for us. So, Danielle, tell us a little bit about how you got where you are today.
Everything.
However, whatever you feel on your heart to share. So, for you guys that don't know, I believe this is one of the first times that Danielle has had the opportunity and to share a testimony. So, we're just going to we're going to go through it. You know, we laugh and we sound goofy anyway, so we're just going to roll on with it and what the Lord lays out what we're going to do. So that's how we're playing this one today, guys.
Okay. Well, obviously my name's Danielle. I'm 40 years old, but when I was 8 years old, I was saved. I went to West Lenoir Baptist Church in Lenoir a good majority of my life.
That's in North Carolina also.
Yes. And I was saved when I was 8 years old and lived for the Lord all through the years I was at church every Sunday, morning, night, Wednesdays. I was involved in summer camps every year, revivals. I never would have thought that sin and obviously the devil, things can happen in your life and take you much further than you want to go.
Yeah.
I'd heard that through life, but I didn't really, per se, put it into perspective as it happened to mine. Because I had a good family and parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles that prayed for me and went to church. Obviously, it wasn't like I just went to church alone on a bus like some children unfortunately have to do without their family. But I went all through elementary school, middle school, high school, and never got into trouble, whatever.
But that's more than I can say.
I did good. When I got to be 20 years old, we moved, going back to 6th grade, we moved when I was in 6th grade from Gamewell down to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to school there, and that's where I went to middle and high school. And then we lived there until I was 20 years old. We moved when I was 20, me and my parents, to Longview, North Carolina, which is
not too far from Hickory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we moved there, and that's where I met, there was some neighbors there, and the sister asked for me to give her other sister a ride just down the road to drop her off at her house. Supposedly their car had broke. I don't know. At that time, I didn't know what it was like to be around anyone that I don't want to call anyone bad people because I did the same things.
Yeah.
But people that
they were trying to
like
stray you for your past. Yeah, they were different.
That were different from how I was at that time. So I gave her a ride, and she stole my CDs. I had a back then. You had your big thing of CD. Whatever.
Hey, if you look right there, I've still got a whole bunch of them in the back.
So I had these CDs back there, and after she got out, I just reached around to get it. It wasn't there, and so I was devastated because I never, I didn't know what someone stealing your stuff was at that. Had never been.
Well, that hurts you. I mean, somebody that'll steal your stuff.
So I got back to the house, and I was right. So I was very upset. So I walked down there to her house, and I'm like, "Your sister took my CDs," and she called her. Well, that girl said, "Oh, come back. We accidentally grabbed it when we got out with our stuff." So I took for granted that's exactly what happened. I went back over there.
Accidents happen.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I give you my number? Like maybe sometime we'll hang out or something." Well, I gave her my number, just moving there. I clearly didn't know anyone.
Well, and you wanted to make friends. You wanted to have somebody to spend time with.
So I did. Well, mistake. But Mom and Daddy had taught me about situations and such through the years, but still, I really didn't think about it. So I gave her my number. Well, she called and would ask for various rides moving forward. And then it got to be late night rides and going and take her to like different hotels, motel, whatever. And sitting in the car, waiting on. Then it got to be going in there waiting on her. And one particular night, Mama felt me and literally pulled me out by the hair of the head out of there. But I had then started taking pain medicine. And it went from...
Was that something that she introduced you to?
Yes. And Oxycontins, back when Oxycontins was really big back then. Mm-hmm. And so at the time it was just taking it or snorting it at that point, because it was literally just starting to all come about. Well,
what made you like? What made you say, "Oh yeah, I want to do that"?
Well, during all this time, I had gotten married also, and I was in a very not happy marriage at this point, and I was gonna have to move to Florida. I was actually making trips on the weekends, sometimes back and forth from Florida to here, and I want to say peer pressure, but that's really no excuse for it because
a release,
right? It just
well, I mean, when
maybe I wanted to blend in with I don't really know how to explain it. It was a dumb decision.
Well, I understand that though, and I wouldn't. I know that we look back now and we say that it was dumb, but I also understand the part when you're going through stuff like that to try to numb the pain. Mm-hmm. You want those feelings. You want the ride that you're on to stop, but you don't know how to stop it. I've been there before. Yeah. I when I was young, my thing to numb it with was drinking. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't try other stuff because I did, but my thing to numb it with was drinking. And it was so funny that we're sitting here talking about this because this was one of the things I had the opportunity to share the Lord with a young man last night at a sale I was at. Super cool guy. And that's one of the things that we were talking about is it's a Band-Aid. And I get it. You want where you are to be different, but you aren't in the place yet to where you have the knowledge or the ability to change where you are. So if you paint the room that you're in for a little bit, that's a cheap way to fix it. It is. It's like an escape. It's just like a Band-Aid. But then when you rip the Band-Aid off, the scab stuck to it.
Yeah.
So then you've got that open wound again, and the only thing you're doing is you're tearing a little bit more hide off every time. Get it?
Yeah. So then I'm realizing at this point, like, things are going down. Plus, my family is like starting to pick them up. Plus, it became that now I'm pregnant with my second daughter because my first daughter's already born. I had them 9 months and 1 week apart.
Holy smokes, man. You started back straight out the gate, sister.
So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Plus, I'm feeling horrible, like I'm pregnant. I'm also taking this, I shouldn't be. And my in-laws are like making it even worse. Like they're like putting me down in the situation down so bad. Like I just want to make them matter. I know that sounds terrible, but
oh no, that's just fuel to a fire when
yes.
you're in that position.
And they're telling me I'm not going to do this, and my parents the same way. I mean, like it. My mom, she tried back then to really stick by me. My dad, on the other hand, he did for a while, but then he would get angry and just not talk for a minute. But he's like, both of them, you got to straighten up. Then my in-laws saying, you're not going to do this, not with my son and, grandchildren, whatever. Well, of course, that just made me madder. And so then I just done it even more so, like, you're not going to tell me what to do. And I
Well, it made that wound bigger. I mean, you wanted more to go away. You wanted to pack up more.
So then it still continued on with being OxyContin to Roxy to really any kind of pain. But then it turned into fentanyl. I can honestly say I've never done heroin, but lasting the rest of every single opiate down the line, yeah, right. You could say that I have. And so then with fentanyl, obviously it's a lot stronger than the rest, you know. Yeah. So it's really by only God's scary. Grace am I here.
Yeah.
And into that. Yes. So then I have Caroline. She's born at this point because I have Grace born first, then Caroline. Then I get pregnant with Malachi. About a year later, and at this time we're already separated. We're going to fix to be divorced by the time I find out I'm pregnant with him. And so then he goes to Florida and I stay up here. Well, now my mom.
So your ex-husband went back to Florida. Yes. He stayed in Florida and you came back home.
Right. And so then my parents are like, they're talking about moving to Raleigh. They just want to get away from everything that I've done, like, because it's a disgrace to everything they've taught me.
That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts.
It hurts.
That's detrimental.
Yeah. So, I would obviously they moved to Raleigh. I have Malachi, and at this point,
so you're alone.
Alone, very much. There was an old man named Jake Lell that I did like in-home caregiving for. Well, he allowed me to move in with him because I had no place to go with a baby. And so I moved in with him, but he had very bad traffic that was coming in and out, girls continuously. So the drugs was freely coming through. So then it turned to, doing more things than just opiates. And so then Joel, which is my ex-husband, backing up a little bit before Malachi was born. No, right after Malachi was born. Malachi was 3 months old. Joel decides to say to meet me at Walmart in Hickory. And I want to get the girls for the weekend. Me and my parents have driven up here. We want to get the girls for the weekend. And we'll bring them back up here. And I said, all right, you can't take Malachi. He's nursing. He's just, he's little. Like, you can have the girls. Because at this time they were 2 and 3. I said, you can have them and take them for the weekend. Well, I went by Mom's to get Grace because she was there with her. And because Mom had a house still in Longview. So she came up for the weekend. And so I went by there and told her, like, Grace is going to have to leave. Sorry I brought her by here, but, like, he's meeting me in Hickory to get them. He didn't tell me he was coming. Well, I met him in Hickory at that Walmart, give him Grace and Caroline. And that was the last time that I seen them legally. He then has the law come to Mama's to serve me with papers for, number one, saying that I stole his dad's air compressor, but I did not. Every single week, and the judge subpoenaed the tickets. He had been going and pawning because his dad and mom had a house they were remodeling over on River Road off of 321. They had allowed us to live there. Supposed to be in our house. Well, it was their house. And so anyways, they had a bunch of like, stuff that you use to remodel with.
Mm-hmm.
And so every week he would go pawn that, then he would get it out. Well, that particular week that it got pawned, when we got there, he's like, oh man, I forgot my wallet at the house. Can you use your name to do it? I did.
Oh.
So then he had orchestrated this huge thing of telling me how he wanted them to come down for the weekend. Then by having me pawn that in my name.
So this is something he had been planning for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, and the house that they were remodeling we had been living in, he had cameras set up in the closet and stuff watching me where I was snorting pills and stuff to use that to prove his case as well, telling me like once or twice a week because his dad would come up to help him. He would come up and say, I've got to go see the cabinet man, and that were remodeling the cabinets. There was no cabinet man. It was Raphael and Hickory, the lawyer. And he went above and beyond to try to hurt me, is the way I put it. But anyways, to get the children. But anyway, so we got the kids from Walmart, and then he took those charges out. Well, of course, I got arrested for misdemeanor larceny when they got me to the jail. Then he said, well, first off, he calls and says, Dad pressed charges on you over that air compressor. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you told me to get it. You were going to go back and get it like you did every other week. And he's like, you don't, just trying to make it as if I really did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, that's okay. I'll go turn myself in. Like, I know that they can see where you clearly done this every single week. And you were with me the day that I done it. So I go up there thinking that, I'm going to go buy myself out because Mom tells me, like, call from there, tell me whatever they need. Like, we'll get you out for that. Like, I know you're telling me the truth on that part. Because Mama would stand by me at that point. So I go to the Hickory Police Department, turn myself in. When I get in there, they're like, I said, what's my bond? Like, I need to call my mom. And he's like, you don't have a bond. He's like, we're charging you with also domestic violence, communicating threat, and we also have emergency custody of the kids. And he had told him I said I was going to kill him during an argument, and so they took that literal. He said he really feared for his life. That I said I would smile. Let's see, how do you put it? It's on the paperwork. It says, I said I would go to prison with a smile on my face. That's what my actual warrant said.
Yeah, but how many times does any of us say something
Right.
like that, where you're just so angry and you're like, yeah, I'll wear stripes or I'll wear orange for a minute. I don't mind that
color. It
color.
to hurt somebody.
It is.
It always just words, of course, the words you can't take back.
Right. So I'm like, I'm devastated at this point. Like, how stupid could I have been to think I'm going to come up here and turn myself in? And like, they were sitting in the lobby when I walked in, which I thought was suspicious enough. Because I'm like, why are y'all here? You just came and got the kids, said y'all were going back down there. Like, how are y'all sitting here? And so really they hadn't went back down there for the weekend, And I'm like, so I didn't even think none of it though when I walked in. I just thought, what are they really here for? But it really didn't.
It didn't dawn on you, yeah.
So when they said you have no bond, I'm thinking, oh, I've never been to jail. Like,
why do I not have a bond?
This is really scary. Like,
yeah.
So that I called Mom just in total distraught because knowing like I'm not going home, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, when can I come? And they're like, we'll have to at least stay here 3 days. And I'm like, 3 days of knowing I never going to jail. Like, I'm thinking like, what am I gonna see? What am I gonna make it these 3 days to even get a bond? I'm thinking all kinds of crazy
I'm sure
stuff.
you were completely shattered.
Yes. And so I spent my 3 days in jail. During that 3 days, I remember calling grandmother and saying to her, because growing up, when I went to church, like, grandmother taught me the books of the Bible. She taught me Bible verses. I got up and sat in church every Sunday morning. So when I called her from jail, she said, Danielle, can you quote me some scripture? Like, can you still quote the books of the Bible? And I started rattling it off to her, like, because throughout everything I'd done, those things stick. And that's why I try to embed that in my daughter's life now, Macy, of getting up in front of the church and saying Bible. Because even if she does make mistakes, I hope that she does still hold those things to where
the Lord's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I left him, he didn't leave me.
Correct. Yeah.
And so.
Praise God for that, too.
Yes.
Ooh.
So on day 3, I get a bond of $1,500. And I get out of jail, and of course I'm furious. At this point, I'm ready to go good on that threat that he said that I made. And so I get out of jail, and I'm like just fuming thinking about it. Well, then the law says like you have to give up the baby as well. Like before we'll let you, they made me give all three of them up before I could get out of jail to go back a little bit too. Malachi was with mom, so was Grace and Caroline most of all the time, except for when he got unwell. They said like you have to give him up as well before you can get out of jail. And I said, well, when I get out of jail, I will. I just let me, you know, be able to at least tell him bye, like for real. Well, they said it was at his discretion that I see the kids. So when I got out, I'm like, okay, trying to play it cool with him, being nice, whatever. So he agrees to let me come down there to Florida and stay in a motel. He will bring the kids to the motel for me to see them. Well, I said I would, and I did. And the first night he brought them, they stayed with me, and I'm like, can they spend the night? Because they didn't want to go back with him. They wanted to stay with me. And he said, yeah. So they stayed the night. Well, on that next morning, I'm like telling them, okay, like he's going to be to get y'all, and they're crying. So I'm like, okay, just get in the car. So I kidnapped them from Florida, brought them back to North Carolina. And about 7 o'clock that evening, he called and said, I'm on my way to get the kids from the motel. And I said, well, no need to worry. I'm in North Carolina. And I hung the phone up. Well, the law like surrounded all my grandmother Papa's, mom and daddy's house that they still had in Longview. They didn't live there anymore, but it was a total disaster. Excuse me, they did live there because they moved right after that happened because daddy said after all that happened with the kids, he would no longer live there. Excuse me. They did live there for just a few short weeks, but they had the kids for some reason. Joe had told them that that they could talk to the kids anytime. Well, when I got there, I told mom, I'm like, Joel's going to be really mad. Like, obviously, I've kidnapped them for Florida. Of course, mom's telling me I made a dumb choice that she could have had him bring them up and stay or whatever, but it didn't matter. He wasn't allowing mom to be the one to let me do anything. He had to always oversee it and critique it. But anyway, so I told him, like, I'm here, hung up the phone. He called the law. They surrounded the houses. Well, I, of course, got the kids in the car. Like, we're just riding around. Like, we're anywhere but going to be where I think they're going to be.
Right.
And anyway, they eventually got me. And I asked them then, can I just tell the kids bye? Because I knew, obviously, I had no chance of ever probably seeing them again at this point. And the law said, yes, we'll let you see them before we hand them over. But they didn't. They lied about that. And so at that point, I never got to see them again. And it was, 15 years. And that'll be later on. But anyway. And at that point, they would have been 2, 3, and Malachi would have been about 7 months.
Wow. Okay.
So at that point, I felt like life was over. Then my parents did for real leave. They didn't come back ever. Maybe for a weekend, but that was rarity. Daddy said he had no use for the situation. I should have changed my life. They wouldn't even let me know where their house was in Raleigh. I wasn't allowed to come. Wasn't allowed to do nothing. Mama
So they
would
just severed ties completely.
Oh, yes.
When you needed them the worst.
Mama would talk to me some, but Daddy would not. So I at that point was staying over there at that man's still. And I met some other people. And over there at that house, well, they were like, oh, it's the best way is to use needles. Well,
oh Lord.
I chose to do it that way that day, and it was a very much downhill spiral from there. I went to jail numerous times after that for breaking and enters to just a multitude of different things. And
I can totally see. I mean, we all make bad decisions. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can totally see from what you've said so far and what you've shared so far why you made the decisions that you made. Every rug that you stepped on was jerked completely out from underneath you. You had absolutely no support, nobody reaching out trying to help. and you were grasping at whatever straw that you could find.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've learned this the hard way too. The people that the Lord put that you feel like the Lord puts in your life, or the people that you cross paths with. Because I mean, I don't mean this wrong, but I've been in dark places myself, and at those times you're not thinking, well, God, the Lord put these people here in front of me. The people that you cross paths with, the devil's got them lined up just as hard as he can get them stacked, because he knows. He knows he ain't got you yet, but he's
Working.
He's working on it. Goodness gracious!
Yeah. Wow.
So, I was very bad on it. Given 2 or 3 months, I was very, very, very bad on needles. Like, one particular time, Mom did come up to this area, and she was trying to find me because after they wouldn't let me know where they live or whatever, I didn't try to keep in contact myself at this point. I'm just like, there, maybe one day, but didn't have much hope on it.
Right.
And so she found me at a red light in Ockard. Well, at that point, I was bruised literally from my neck all the way to my arms, all the way to my legs, just from needles.
Wow.
Because eventually, your veins will blow,
Blow,
whatever. And she, at that point, she was crying and telling me she was sorry. And I felt hard because I was like, if only, maybe, just maybe you could have. I mean, I'm not saying there was something they could do. I don't know. I just sometimes would think, just if you were there, maybe. But, anyways,
support's huge.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I had none. Well, I was really bad on drugs. Then moving forward to about 4, 5 years later, well, about 4 years later, I met a guy, which I left from that man's house and moved in with in Claremont. And I got pregnant about a year after we were together because I overdosed 3 times on fentanyl at this point.
God.
But the third time, they told me I was pregnant. And at that point, to this day, I've never touched a needle. And I'm not now owning my testimony. I will say, there was times that after that I did do things, but as a needle point from the time they told me I was pregnant with Macy,
You put that down.
I put that down.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, Lord, if you'll just give me a healthy baby, I promise I won't ever touch a needle again. And so he went to prison about 2 months after I found out I was pregnant with her. And so then I'm like, what in the world am I going to do now?
By
So
yourself
that,
again.
By
right.
yourself
So
again.
that same old man who had took me in before let me come back there, and he helped me with getting the things I needed for her, crib, stroller, whatever, etc. And I had her, and she stayed 5 days in the hospital just for observation. Just, yeah, because they had me transition to Suboxone during that time. And so she stayed in there, but she had absolutely nothing wrong with her, and I was so thankful. And there's nothing wrong with her today. And I met this guy right before I had her, and he came to the hospital when I had her, with his mother, and he was like, oh, acting as if everything was, he just wanted to be there for me and whatever. Well, he ended up coming around after she came home, and I would not, like I said, I didn't use the needle, but I would still do other things, that I shouldn't be doing. And then he started smacking on me. Well, I didn't say, I just stay. I didn't say, don't you ever come back again. And then I decided to ask Mom if I could move in that house in Longview because this old man was getting to the point where he was going to have to go to the VA nursing home. He had to have round the clock care. And so I asked Mom if we could move in there. And she said, well, yeah, but y'all have to pay the power and water there, whatever. And So they did let us move in there, but then when she started seeing such as the power order didn't get paid, things started getting cut off. Then about 3 days after it got cut off, somebody said something about calling the social services on me because having Macy there. So I called mom and daddy and asked them, like, will you please come and get, well, not mom and dad, but mama, will you please come and get Macy? I know I've not really had much contact, but like Macy, I'm scared that Macy's going to get took. Like, I know that you don't agree with this situation. Mom was like, well, I'll just talk to daddy and why don't you just come back home? And I said, I can't come home. Like, at this point, I've done married this guy and at the courthouse. And when Macy was about 3 months old. And mama and daddy had tried to talk to me again. And during, I guess maybe I need to go back about a couple years because when Macy was a baby, I married him. Then mom and daddy saw me when Macy was about, well, mama let me come down there. She finally told me where she lived when Macy was about a week old. And she said, I'll pick you up and you can come here and just don't ever go back to that again. Daddy really didn't have much to say to me, but mama was trying. Well, I went down there, but like I said, I had met him. So I said, well, let me just go back thinking that I don't know why that I need to go back there. And I did. And so mom was like, well, I wish you would just stay here with the baby. Like, I hope you get on your feet again. Like, we'll just forget everything that's happened, whatever. But
Start anew.
right. Well, I chose not to. And
Do you think if you would have, things would have been different?
oh, very much so. Very much so. And
But at the same time, I look back at stuff sometimes and it's like, well, if I would have made that other decision, but would she be here?
Right.
but then again, I will say, and I've said 100 times, I endured a whole lot in this next few years that I'll tell you about. But I would do everything that I did again to be who I am today because I'm a much better person. I'm much more humbler, much more thankful. I'm thankful for the small things that you don't think about every day: power, water, food, clothes,
Stuff that normal people take for granted.
the flowers, the sun coming up every day,
Mm-hmm.
people that, are real and true. And so, yeah, I mean,
I'm proud to hear you say that because
Yeah.
there's so many people that you talk to or that you just get to share with, that you get to know. And it's like, well, if I had to go, if I had everything to do over, I'd go back till I was, such and such age, and I would do everything different from that point forward. But would you really? I mean, I had the opportunity to go into the military. I mean, I had been in JROTC in high school. I didn't go. Do I regret that to a certain degree? I think. I don't know. But I know that the best thing that ever happened to me is right here in this house. Been together 16 years. Um, would I want to change that? If you wouldn't have made the decisions that you made, you wouldn't have Macy.
yeah.
We wouldn't have met each other.
Yeah.
There's so much to be thankful for because if you don't have a test, you don't have a testimony. One thing I told her, I think it was on the very first podcast, I was struggling really hard, really hard. And this has not been that long ago, just within the last year or so. And a friend of mine, we were talking on the phone and they said, iron sharpens iron. You think about the heat process, the heat treat that iron has to go through, the molding that it takes. Because, I mean, it is a hard, cold, malice piece of just hard metal. I mean, it's nothing. And it's just a stick. It's a square, whatever shape it is. It's just a piece of nothing. With all that fire that we go through, with all that turmoil that we go through, each step that we take, each time we stumble, that's a new turning point. That's a new piece in it. And it makes something, it makes something beautiful. And I'm thankful that you said that, that you would do what you did again because you're exactly right. you wouldn't be the person you are today.
No.
You wouldn't make the decisions that you make today. And I don't mean that, oh, I'm so glad you went through it. I'm not. But I'm thankful that you came through it and you are the person that you are because you're
You're
precious.
stronger because of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You know, and there's a song, I can't remember all the lines of it, but you know, you're in a fire, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You're in a fire, but you're not alone.
Mhm.
There's somebody there with you. And God was with you through this whole process. And like Victoria said, He's molding you. I mean, I I say that lightly, I guess, but He's been there with you the whole time, right there next to you, you know, waiting.
Well, and
I'm here. Come on. Come on.
but how many
Danielle.
times do we
Yeah.
do that? As I mean, and I haven't physically birthed a child. I can't.
Mhm.
I think the Lord knew that my crazy would out crazy me if I had a kid. So I mean, you know,
Yes.
we didn't go there. And I'm thankful for everything that happened with me. I would have had a house full if I could have. I love children. Anybody that knows me knows that. I love kids. But um, you know, how many times as parents do we give love is not all fluffy things and
Mm-mm.
all warm, and love is hard.
It is.
Love is tough. And sometimes you have to sit and watch what you love absolutely crumble.
Mhm.
You've had your hand out the whole time. But until you crumble to the point to where you're ready to reach up and you're ready to say, okay, you're not ready to be fixed.
Mhm.
And he, just like and I mean, he's better than any physical parent that we could ever have on earth.
Right.
He loves us more than any physical love that we could ever have on earth. He never left. He never took his eyes off of you. He had your back the whole time. I mean, you overdosed on fentanyl 3 times.
Oh yeah.
He probably
That right
protected
there.
you from more
Yes.
than you realize.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
You know,
I'm sure.
and you don't think about that because when you are in the depths and when you're in the trenches, you don't realize how much worse it could be. Like we can't fathom when we're in a bad situation where this could be worse because that's your bottom. You know what I mean? That's like where you are right then. We don't realize what he's saving us from sometimes. He saved you from yourself many times just from what you've said so far. That right there, I mean, if you don't know there's a Lord, listen to what she just said.
no.
She's here.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge. So sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I mean, because mom and daddy, there for a while, they did leave me behind there in the end, but they would beg and plead and whatever. But until you are ready, it doesn't matter who begs around you, who wants it for you, whatever. You have to want it for yourself.
You do.
And, I know that they prayed for me, and I know the Lord was there for me because I lived to tell the story.
Mhm.
And
Glory to that.
I know that He knew that one day I would get my life together and be able to tell the story, because He knows everything.
Yeah.
But um, I'm just thankful, and like I said, I'm glad I'm here, and I'd do it again. But I will say just a bit more, and then I'll leave it at that for next week.
See, guys, we've got more coming. She's got a lot more to tell you guys.
Oh, but I would just say that I didn't choose to stay there at mom and daddy's. Then they moved to the coast again. And I went down there and took Macy when she was just about 2. And they said, would you please stay? We'll try to work this out again. We'll forgive and forget, move on. And I said, well, yeah, will you please let him come too? Now, keep in mind that they knew he was abusive and whatever. And they said, like, no, he doesn't need to be here. Like, we're trying to save you and the bait, or,
Yeah.
her from this. We just want to help you, whatever. We didn't say we would take him in. Well, I kept begging and asking and begging and asking when I should have left well enough alone and knew they were, had my best interest. And I went after him and he went down there and things just progressively got worse. And then, at this point, Macy was about 2.5 to 3. And, well, she was probably close to 4. I got very sick and they said that, he told Mama that I took a bunch of Xanaxes, which was not true. I didn't even take Xanaxes. And Mama knew that, but Mama knew for a solid week, like I was hardly getting up out of the bed. I'd got to where I was not with it, like I wasn't myself. Like I went to the kitchen and completely undressed as if it was the bathroom. Um, then Mama would have to like physically have my brother sit me up in the bed and try to put some water in my mouth. And I remember telling Mama that Saturday, like, that tasted really good. And Mama said, "What is wrong with you? Like, we need to get you some help." And I just, like, fell back to sleep again, whatever you call it, sleep, whatever. That Sunday morning, I woke up and, um, I was gasping even more so for air because, like, it became so bad I was on continuous oxygen before that morning. On that Sunday morning, like, the oxygen was no longer helping me. I um was hyperventilating, like I was trying to catch a breath so bad, and Mama was like, "Let's just get in the car and try to get to the hospital." And Mama got me in the car and took me to Grand Strand Hospital in Myrtle Beach. And on the way there, I can remember just trying to tell her, like, call 911. Like, I guess I was thinking 911 could get me faster there than she could. And she got me to the doors of the hospital and she did, like, my bladder give way, my bowels, like, everything as they was getting me from the car to the wheelchair. And the man at the doors of the emergency room is just like, take her straight on back. And they did. And they started working with me as hard as they could. My oxygen saturation was 30. I was
Good
absolutely
gracious.
smothering.
Yeah, because 70 is low. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like super low. 30, you're like a
Yeah.
fish trying to breathe out of water.
I can vaguely remember things. It was like I was in and out,
Yeah.
like I can remember seeing certain things, but not, and hearing it's like it was all a big fog, like
Like a
in and
blur.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can remember them telling Mom said, "I've got to do something with her daughter. Will you please wait and let me like try to get her to my son, and I'll be right back." And they said we'll do what we can to save her, but it's not looking good.
Oh my gosh.
And so Mama took
That
off
gives me cold chills.
Mm-hmm.
like 20, it was like 20 or 30 minutes back to her house to take Macy to try to meet my brother, which my brother and my dad had went on a service call that morning, so they wasn't at home. So Mama said she called him and told him, like, meet me there at the house to get Macy. During this time I can just remember them coming in there and doing, blood gas, numerous things to
Yeah.
me, and saying, like, "I'm not sure you're gonna live," but I can remember saying, "I want my mama." And they said, she's coming right back. And then that's the last thing I remember. And they told Mom that they couldn't wait for her to get back to the hospital. They called her and told her, like, her only option is putting her on the ventilator, putting her in an induced coma, trying to give her experimental medications, like her heart's so enlarged the pulmonary artery can no longer get blood flow. She has double pneumonia. She has a blood clot. Like, it's not looking good. She's septic, and we'll do what we can to save her, but, like, we don't know at this point.
Why didn't they take you before?
Because Mama told me I took Xanaxes, so Mama said she was trying not to, like, take me to the doctor to get me in, like, for them to.
Because if you know how Xanax works, everything that she had going on, I mean, would be, because I had to be on Xanaxes for a while because I just completely lost it after my mom died. I didn't realize I hadn't dealt with my dad's death. Hit me all at one time. I actually literally had a breakdown moment at Vail at the horse sale, and I don't remember screaming. Everybody else around me remembers me screaming, and I was holding on to the rail, just jerking out front of the office. And it basically, if you take enough of it, it just kind of tranquilizes you. It just puts you out. And what she's saying is, if you took enough of them, that would be.
Did you? But you said you didn't take.
No,
No, and
but that's what he had told
that's
them.
that's what my ex-husband told
That's what
Mom.
he told her, that
Mom
the reason
didn't
she
want
was like she was,
Right.
she was just high. Basically, she had taken too many.
So they did a toxicology right away to kind of determine
What was going on.
Right, and it came back with nothing. I had done nothing. It took nothing except I was on methadone back then, and that was the only thing that showed up in my system. So at this point, Mom is really mad when the doctor tells her this because.
So then, when you take that out of the equation, then it does sound like she's being septic or she's got some type of infection going on.
So yeah, I was in septic shock at that point. So they told her like we'll try, and I stayed that way for 21 days.
Gosh.
Before it was going to be trach morning that next morning because you can only have the hose down your throat for 21 days. You have to have the trach placed after that. So that they had been trying to take me off of the medicines moving, to that day, a couple of days prior to that. But every time they tried, everything would not do as it's supposed to. I couldn't breathe on my own. So, they didn't have high hopes that they were going to get me off of it or that I was even going to make it. Some of my numbers were starting to look better in other areas, but I still was very sick. So on day 21 or day 22, they tried again with taking me off of it before they placed the trach, and I breathed on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was able to have forced air instead of the ventilator hose, but then I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. My hands were drew like this, where they had folded them out. Mama would fold them every day because they were drew, and it took me months to try to recover. But during the time of the ventilator being on, he got in trouble, my ex-husband, for taking the hose off of my ventilator. Said he just wanted to see how hard the air would pump.
Oh,
Well, I think he tried to kill me there.
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, after that I learned to eat every day. It would be just one step with a walker, because that's all I could take. I mean, I was so weak, incredibly weak from because they say just 1 or 2 days of laying there, which in that kind of state, you lose so much muscle mass and whatever, but
Every 7 days takes a month and a half to get over it.
and so every day I would take another step and another step. They'd bring Macy to see me and she'd say, "Mama, that your car?" And I'd just say, "Yeah." And I learned to talk, walk, use my hands again, all those kinds of things. And I just praise the Lord for where I am today because obviously I can do everything again. But I'll leave it at there to where we get from here because it goes downhill from there.
Well, I want to share a little something. And this is really hard for me. Monday will be 5 years since I lost my mom. Me and my mom didn't have the greatest relationship on the planet. And what you're sitting there talking about, my mom had had a couple of strokes before before she passed away. She reached out to me about 6 months, almost to the day before she passed, and wanted help. Birthday was July the 6th. She went into septic shock. My husband 3 years ago was in septic shock. My mama was on a ventilator. And I had to make the choice to take her off.
Mm-hmm.
They had called me that morning. She was good. She was sitting up on the edge of the bed. She was getting ready to get discharged. Somehow,
during all those CT scans, they missed her having a hole in her bowel tract. It was a perforation in her bowel tract. The reason that she was having the strokes, the reason that she was having the symptoms almost identical to what you're talking about was all because she was septic. And girl, that touches a nerve. I mean, it touches a nerve with me, as you can tell. But
a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to live.
They're not. And you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
You're a big inspiration. And I thank you for sharing that. Because most people, I can say you and my husband are two of the few that I know. Well, actually, the only two that I know that have been in septic shock for long periods of time that are still here to share. And I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
I'm very glad that you're here.
God has been good.
He is good.
Awesome.
And I'm thankful that we're all here together. Guys, I'm sorry for crying. Anybody that knows me knows I get weepy anyway. I can't help it. I'm thankful for it, but on the other hand, it's a double-edged sword. It can be a little it can be awkward sometimes because people don't know what to do and they're looking at you like, "Oh my goodness, is she okay?" No, clearly she's not okay. But guys, we appreciate you hopping on with us. We thank you for taking your time out of your day to just listen to what the Lord's laid on our hearts. And I think we're gonna wind this first session up, and we're gonna grace you with another session next week. We're gonna do part 2, Miss Danielle's testimony. But I will tell you, we're gonna be missing a part for a couple of weeks because somebody informed us earlier before we got started. I think she wanted to rub it in just a little bit. Julie's going to the beach next week. So, and I think she's got some prior engagements already for the week after. So I think it's just going to be me and Miss Danielle the next time. We'll be sure to keep it raw, keep it real, and keep it live for you guys.
We'll miss being here.
Yes, everybody will miss Julie. We'll miss her for sure. I know you guys will too. Like I said, we appreciate you guys. And hope the Lord blesses you with this. We love you. Thank you for hopping on Stained Glass and for listening to us today. And always remember, come as you are, because as you just heard, we're all broken here.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Lord loves you too.